Just had a thought this afternoon, and I wanted to talk about it. But first, while I was working yesterday, I listened to this is another Kingdom in Context. This is Sean Griffin. His name is Griffin, which I just find funny when you start to see that their names are always their giveaways. But in this video, he was really laying into Madeline about the land of Jesus, or the land of Yesu, and Jason Jack, both of them, just really like lambasting them. And in his chat, there were a ton of little seasoners that were typing in, but I wanted to address his question to little seasoners, because I think this is something that it is, of course, the main one where we shrug a little bit. But I want to show something that there's plenty of times we shrug as Christians. We don't know everything about every answer out there, but we are left with, this is the only puzzle piece that fits, and we're left with it. But it doesn't mean we can answer every question, and that doesn't make it wrong because we can't. And I'll show that a little later. But let me just play like his question, his line of reasoning.
When did he return? Please put it in the live chat. All the people that are excited, that are in here, that believe in this theory, and that keep saying I'm avoiding these topics and avoiding the 70 AD claim that Christ returned, please tell me when he returned and from where you believe he literally physically reigned on the earth before he was removed when Satan popped back out. I need to know, this is very important so that you can have credibility. Otherwise, you're just spamming the live chat. I'm waiting for you to talk. So now Jerusalem is the center of the earth. Okay. So the Mount of Olives, Zechariah 14, when he returns, the Mount of Olives touches his feet down the Mount of Olives. That's the same Jerusalem. That's the Mount of Olives in Israel today, right? Your code, easy answers. It should be easy for you if you believe in Satan's little season and you think I'm in grave error. When did Christ return and from where did he rule? Please, everyone who believes in this theory, put this in the live chat right now. Thirsty for truth? I'm speaking to you. Thirsty for truth. You've been in here the whole time. You've been spamming the whole time.
Okay, so I want to go to Revelation for a second. Let me pause. So Sean's gotcha moment for little seasoners is, if we can't pinpoint exactly where the beloved city is, where Jesus reigned from, then we don't have a leg to stand on. You know, as I was thinking about the Garden of Eden, the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, we know that that's a physical place. But yet nowhere on this earth do we know where that is. And there's an angel put on guard to keep people away with a flaming sword. We can't really understand that. Like that element of like, okay, so is this an angel you could go see and see the sword? Or is that symbolic for some sort of like, there was a impasse to get back into the garden. Almost like there's a portal, like you can't go through, you can't go to it. It's like, there it is, but it doesn't matter. You can't go that way, and all you're going to see is a flaming sword. Maybe you're going to see the angel too. We don't know. But we know it's a physical place. We know this, our known continents, are what they've given us. We've never been like, oh, this must be the Garden of Eden. But yet we still believe that it exists. And that tree of life still exists, because it comes back into play in Revelation 21 and 22. I'm not sure. in one of these last two verses, the tree is still there. I do believe that all the lands, well, you guys know this, but everything over in the Middle East, I don't believe those are the true lands of Israel at all. I believe Jerusalem was always the center of the earth. And, with another thing is all the islands fled away during some parts of Revelation that led up to during the second coming, and there was catastrophic events. So, islands fled away, continents moved. We don't know that everything stayed. It's not like, oh, let's recreate all the biblical lands, because we may not be able to. Things have changed. Just because we can't figure out where that is doesn't make it an impossibility. And of course, he avoids all the very obvious words of Jesus, and he won't address them, and he won't talk about it. And when you consider double standards, when people will say, hey, there's a Christian astronaut, John Glenn, who will say in a church that he was on the moon, and we are compelled to believe his Christian witness because he's a Christian. Like, that was one of the things that Ken Graves said at Calvary Bangor. He said, I believe the witness of John Glenn, the politician, Christian astronaut, Democrat too, by the way, Democrat. Not that it matters, but I mean, he's one of these Republican guys. And of course, to somebody who believes biblical cosmology, we take that and we throw it out. We say, whatever, we can't consider that. Sean takes that and throws it out. Says that's crazy. I would never believe that. However, he has somebody on the show who is supposedly military and played football shirtless with a bunch of other men at the North Pole, because it's a tradition that they do. And they knew they were at the North Pole because they came in on a submarine and they popped up, and they can definitively tell you there's no land masses in the North. And he's a Christian. And then he's like, you must believe this Christian, but not that Christian. This Christian, but not that Christian. I go, that's such a double standard. It's the kind of thing where you go, no, real people don't do that. We'd go, oh yeah, that's true. That's a worthless testimony. Worthless, completely. We don't know him. We haven't been there. We don't know why. Just because he says he's a Christian, should we believe him? That's how Satan's gotten this far, is by false witnesses and bearing God's name. And talk about taking God's name in vain. The astronaut. I go, oh, that's what God, when it says don't take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. There's the prime example of what God's like. Don't do that. Yet that during the little season, that's what happens all the time. However, today I was thinking about the new heaven, the new earth, and the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. And I recently realized that Revelation 20, which of course we know that very, very well, I believe the end of Revelation 20 is the end of all things. This is the lake of fire, second death, and this is when everything's judged. But Revelation 21 starts to talk about the new, after that happens, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. This is the one Jesus says, I go to prepare a place for you, and so that where I am, you may be also. I believe he brings this down, and I recently started to understand, I think correctly, that this is what happened on his second coming. The New Jerusalem came from the air, came down, and was here. That's where Jesus reigned. So when Sean's like, tell us where, it's the New Jerusalem that came down, Zion. He understands that, but it also did come down. Then during the little season, he is just adamant that we would all know where this is. Like, this has to be known. But again, the Bible says Satan's released and he deceives the world. So it would actually make sense that either that's shielded with like an angel with a flame of fire, or perhaps that has gone back up. And the reason this hit me today is I was driving home last night and I had NPR on, because sometimes I just go, what are these guys talking about? They're talking about 3-Eye Atlas. And it's this thing that's coming in, and they had all these different scientists talking about it, and talking about the nickel on the outside doesn't have iron. It's not flashing from the sun as it goes by. They got some great pictures of it as it went by Mars from all their Mars rovers, and I'm like, okay, this is just tons of crap that they're just dishing out. But however, it is a big deal. They're really drumming it up, and they're talking a lot about it. And I start to wonder if the New Jerusalem did come down at the beginning of the millennial reign, what if it did go back up after the 1,000-year reign? He's still reigning from there, but it's not currently on this earth. And then what if that is what comes back down and that is what gets surrounded? That would make sense to me. It's a possibility. And, whenever I see them talking about and sort of seeding alien stuff with this, I don't even know what they're calling it, this rock that's coming in. The first thing they said, this was here for billions of years before our solar system was even created. And I go, what are they talking about? Because I guess I hadn't really even heard of 3-Eye Atlas. But yet there's a lot of chatter today. I listened to some guys just talking about it for an hour while I was working again. And I just thought, oh, this is interesting. They're really making a big deal of it. So I wonder if that or something like that would be the New Jerusalem coming down. However, even if it's not, Sean himself knows. He is a biblical cosmologist. He does believe that there is that they've lied, a huge lying network to cover up space. Like, he would just laugh at all of the jargon that today that they're talking about space. All asteroids always have a combination of nickel and iron. Every rock that we've ever studied, I'm a smart doctor, I'm going to tell you what every rock is composed of. But this one just has nickel. It doesn't have iron, which means it's manufactured. It's not, this big ordeal in the right voice will convince you that they know exactly what asteroids are composed of. And this isn't checking any of the just random asteroid box. It's more of a man-made or a fabricated, So I go, why are they saying this? Are we on the cusp of them actually starting to play the alien card? And in that case, it would be very interesting to see how the world reacts. Satan's got them where he wants them. And there's a very small amount of us that go, I wonder, that know when we live, and that would be very happy to see the New Jerusalem. Of course, I don't know what would happen when that gets here. Like, how do we differentiate ourselves from the masses, right? And again, if you're like, well, this sounds like Independence Day, right? So much is just seeded, but we do expect a war. And I will say it's not that I haven't asked the question that Sean's saying. Is like, well, they do have to surround the city, the camp of the saints and the beloved city. They do have to do that. And knowing we're in the little season, it is one of the things we go, well, where is that? And and the little season has to end. And I go, when is it going to end? I don't know how many of us want, more decades and decades. We're like, yeah, let's do more. Let's do more of this. It's kind of this feeling of exhausted with the amount of nonsense. And but again, I also telling myself we've got to be willing to live out our lives and just keep pressing on, because I don't know what else to do. I'll say about the land of Vesu, even though I don't agree with everything Madeline says on that, I still he's just mercilessly attacking the fact that there could be land somewhere in the north, and I just go, that's an inconsistent way to be about this land. When you yourself know that every map that's out there is wrong, how could you then be definitive and be like, this guy from the military will tell you there's no landmass up there? I just go, that's insane position to take. Why doesn't your same military buddy go south and tell us all about what's down there? Yeah, come on, fill this in, man. Fill this in on all these things that somehow this one guy knows and can definitively answer. And you go, I don't know. I don't personally think there's a land between Alaska and Japan. I don't think it's out there. China, Russia. I don't think that's where it is. And perhaps it was north and is now airborne. And again, if that sounds crazy, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride. Okay, he later measures it, and it's big. And the reason that, besides some of the others, and I've done a video on this where I did correct something I thought I was wrong about earlier. The reason, so measuring, and there shall no wise enter it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. If this takes place after Revelation 20 is done, then we shouldn't have anybody that can't enter. Right? Everyone should be able to enter. But if this comes down earlier, then there are still, it's during the millennial reign, and there's plenty of people that can't come in. Revelation 22, this is, again, it's back to, behold, I come quickly. So we know chronologically that these statements aren't, they're not like to us, behold, I come quickly. Oh, what do you mean, right now? Like, no, this was for them at that time. And we understand this when we read, like, if only we thought clearly all along, we could see, oh yeah, this means I come quickly, so he's back to the beginning. And then, but talks about the New Jerusalem again. And then the book, or the healing of the tree. So what do you guys think of that? I was listening to, okay, this is totally side show or side topic, but I was listening to Counting Crows. That was a band when I was in high school that I loved, the Counting Crows. But re-listening, I just put it on today, and re-listening to it, them and Mumford and Sons, oh my gosh, there's so much like Christian baggage in there. But he's talking about I am the Rain King, and I was thinking about, upon them there shall be no rain. This is Revelation. This is one of the judgments. Like, if they don't come up, not Revelation, Isaiah. If they don't come up for the Feast of Tabernacles, there'll be no rain. And Jesus is the Rain King. And here's here's Counting Crows guy saying, I am the Rain King. And there's so much stuff where it like means something different to me now. So these are just little things that you learn once you know the season that we're in, once you start reading the Bible. And I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not saying this is, I know because of that, but they're the things your ears perk up and they take it in. So, okay, this is a video without Beth, so hopefully it was all right, but we'll see what happens.